So your question is, you're talking about doing. So your question is, is there some kind of practice I should do, or is that reinforcing the idea that I'm an ego?
I guess what it is it okay for me to be busy with work as opposed to being busy or not busy with relaxing and learning? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I could say this. We burn so much energy through thinking all day, through identifying all day. Being a person is exhausting because everything is done through effort, tremendous effort. And the self is completely effortless. So when you are abiding in your true self, you may be very, very dynamic. You may be doing business deals and traveling the world, but inwardly you're expending no energy because the experience you have is that life is living you. You have no clue what's going to happen and you don't really care because whatever happens is the will of God. So you're like, yay, it's all good. And so wherever life moves you, you're just in your bliss, you're in your peace, and you're accepting. Even if it's difficult, you're like, oh, great, this is what destiny has brought me for some reason, for my benefit. So I'm going to accept it and allow it. Nothing disturbs your inner state of being. So that doesn't mean you just sit on the couch or you go sit in a cave and meditate forever. In fact, a lot of the devotees would ask Ramana, do I need to renounce my life and leave my marriage and my family and go to a cave and do self-inquiry? And you'd say, no, 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 no. That's going to just reinforce the person. Like, oh, I have to do something to achieve realization. See, there's no conflict between an ordinary life and self-inquiry. Said simply, in every free moment that you have where you don't have to be thinking about something. Like if you're writing an email, then write the email. Don't be doing self-inquiry while you're writing the email.
Okay.
But as soon as you're done doing something ordinary, then just abide in the self. Find the sense of I am, and oh, I am that. And marinate in it. Just enjoy it. He called it self-abidance. And at first, it seems like a practice that a person does. Oh, yeah, I need to remember. Like I had people set their alarms to remember I am, right? Because like you're not going to do it otherwise. But eventually, that tendency to remember I am just happens on its own because every time you contact it, there's this experience of peace. And so, much like a drug, people go back to the drug because it gives them a quick little moment of dopamine or whatever. It's very much like that with self-realization, but no negative side effects, right? There's just peace, there's just love, and you increasingly enjoy that experience. And so then you just find yourself returning to it. And that's when the destruction of the I thought is beginning to happen. The I thought is going out into the world less and less, meaning I'm doing this, I'm doing that, that's me, I did it, I did that, I'm responsible. That tendency is happening less, and you're more and more inwardly focused, abiding as the self, and what the person's doing externally appears to just be happening. So the experience is really that the whole world is my body. My environment is just as much my body. The world around me that I experience is just as much me as the body through which I experience it. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes a lot of sense. When my days are very busy, and I notice during my work I am very much at peace. I notice the I am is always in charge, or for the most part in charge. And I don't spend a lot of time worrying about the person. But when my work ends and on the weekends, I'm going to be emotional here. Sorry. My mind beats me up all the time. And I think I'm feeling guilty for not spending time, not working or something. And I'm having a hard time sleeping because when I'm not working, all I have is these abusive thoughts. And meditating does help, but when meditation is over, the thoughts are there, and I can ignore them a lot easier when I'm focused on something. But it's really interfering with my sleep. And then what it is questions. And so I feel like maybe I should just find the answer to those questions so I can get rid of those thoughts.
So there's a spiritual ego that's shaming you for not being spiritual enough, so to speak.
Yeah.
You should be doing more to be more what you already are. Yeah, that's a very common one, isn't it? Especially for those of us on this path, is again, ego doesn't care what it claims, right? It will claim anything it comes in contact with, which is why I'll say, like, hey, if you're meditating with the idea that I'm a person who's meditating to achieve enlightenment, okay, it's just enhancing ego now, right? Now it's become a new activity the ego claims to enhance itself with. So instead you say, awareness is observing the mind. No one's doing it. There's no person doing it to achieve something. Simply awareness is observing the mind. That's meditation. So in that same sense, ego will, every concept we learn in spirituality, even in this MasterClass, if there isn't a recognition that, the map is not the territory, all of these concepts I'm learning, all these practices I'm learning are really just fingers pointing me to the truth. But reality is silent, right? Reality isn't a concept. The map isn't the territory. We have to use these pointers, teachings, practices to know which direction to go and find reality, find the true self. When we experience that, the practice is unnecessary, the teaching is unnecessary. It's like the canoe that we use to get across the river. We just drop it once it's accomplished its purpose, right? So in that same way, ego is just a shapeshifter, and you just have to continually watch that activity of claiming. So this, I hope everybody writes this down, because this is a game-changing secret I'm about to give you. This is the key out, okay? When we talk about self-inquiry and trying to find the sense of I am, and then watch how the mind robs that I am and attaches it to things. I am this person, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. I'm the doer, I'm responsible, I'm guilty, I should be more spiritual. You watch that tendency, it can be a little bit difficult to locate the I thought. And so the grace point in our suffering is that the easiest entry to finding the I thought is through the painful thoughts. So Ramana's practice was, whenever a thought appears or something disturbs me, the question is to say, wait, to who is that thought appearing? Like, who's witnessing, who's perceiving? So we stop looking at objects and we turn around and look at the subject. Because there must be, if there's something being experienced, there's a subject and an object. And we only ever care about the freaking objects. So self-inquiry is to turn around, do an about face and say, whoa, who's the one observing this? Who's the perceiver? And when we ask that question with real sincerity, there's the natural response. This inner knowing resonates back, me, I am, right? There's this knowing that I exist. And then Ramana said, once you find that sense of I am, then you ask the question, who am I? What is I? Who is the I am? And you try to find something, right? You look for that I, which is undeniable, right? I know without a shadow of a doubt that I am. Nothing could be more obvious to me. But yet, what is that I? What is the nature of that I? Who is that I? And you'll see that you never find an object. Nothing appears to say, it's me. I'm 5'7" and I'm 300 pounds, right? That nobody appears. There's nobody there. But yet I am. And that's when the I thought returns to its source and is destroyed, meaning the personal I is destroyed and you experience the universal I. I am the supreme self. It's so obvious. How did I not see it? And in that light, all the guilt the ego lays you with is hilarious. It's hilarious. It's so silly. I have to do something to be what I already am. And that goes back to what I was saying about Ramana's instruction to his devotees. They would say, I'm trying to meditate. I can't do it. Well, how do I meditate, Ramana? and you would say, stop it, don't meditate, just be. That's true meditation. Meaning there's a person trying to do something to achieve something. That's the mistake. Just watch that.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Got it. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just repeat what I heard. I'll pay attention to those thoughts, because what it's saying is you're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be doing this. And
Yes.
it's that.
And identity is trying to be lived up to.
Yeah.
Right.
I couldn't find that. It's been a while. I've been dealing with it. And
yes.
Thank you.
I would summarize it like this, Dawn. I would say just aggressively question that I. If the mind ever suggests a thought to you, hey, Dawn, you should be meditating more. Wait, who's saying that? Who's the I who thinks I should meditate? Find it. Just look at it. And every time you find it, it vanishes. There's nobody there. It's just an activity in the brain. Nobody did it. Nobody's guilty. I am always pure. I'm always innocent. That's the recognition.
Yay! Thank
Yay!
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dawn. Appreciate it.